right, welcome to Smokey's Footy Files. I'm your boy journalist, and on this one, we are checking out how Liverpool became great again. The Klopp effect, the angry German, if you will. The homie asked me to check out Football Iconic. I believe is a YouTube channel that he told me to check out, unless there's like another like. Link me the thing you told me to check out when you told me to check out Football Iconic like highlights or some shit like that. Because I put it in and I found this channel, and I feel like that's where you were trying to lead me. But if I'm wrong, please link me directly where you were trying to send me. Because yeah, my YouTube and your YouTube ain't working the same. If you was trying to send me somewhere else, but yeah, this is going to be. From Football Iconic. Let's get into this one. Thank you for joining me. If you could please hit that like and subscribe, and let's go. Oh yeah, and the fucking season starts like 8 hours for you guys from the time I'm recording this right now.
On a special Liverpool way, we can be.
My goddamn headset, man, every time.
On a special Liverpool way, we can be successful. And please give us the time to work on it.
The last 4 years have been the greatest 4 years for Liverpool in the history of the Premier League. And I don't think that's a controversial take.
It's super controversial. It's one of the most outlandish takes I've ever heard.
Champions again! This is gonna be a long video. No
That's
cracking
fine,
about.
blood.
Before
I'm
going
trying to
into
learn.
anything else, I want to jump straight into some numbers to point out Liverpool's accrued points per season. Up to 2018, on average, over 26 Premier League campaigns, Liverpool won roughly 67 points per season. In the 4 years since, they've amassed an average of 89 points per season.
Niggas going up.
And just so we're all on the same page on how significant of a number that is, the average points total, along with an average goal difference of plus 54, is enough to have won 17 of the 30 Premier League seasons to date. Now, I'm aware that they've actually only won one of those titles, but considering their upward trajectory and their ability to continuously compete against the current landscape's competition, it's hard to imagine that there isn't more to come. But we'll get into that in a bit. Liverpool of old, before the 90s at least, was the biggest team in England, no questions asked, no arguments, just stop. But in the 30 years after 1990, they didn't have the best of luck. In
That
a
boy
relatively
Arsenal showed
short
up and
amount of
started
time,
putting hands and feet on
Liverpool have
folks.
gone from a sleeping giant that was the butt of very many jokes to, in my opinion at least, the most exciting attacking team to watch in England. With a formidable defense.
Mo Salah.
And they've become European champions and seem to have a standing spot in the Champions League finals. They're back where they belong. But how did all of this happen? Which is to say, how did Liverpool become great again?
Is that a phoenix or is that another chicken? Like fucking Tottenham Hotspurs. Is that a chicken or what is this? What is this bird? And what is in its mouth? Obviously, I know it's a twig with whatever, but like the eagle on the dollar, it has fucking olive branches and fucking a quiver of fucking arrows. Well, is that a quiver or a bundle? It's more so a bundle because the quiver is the thing that holds it. So he's got a bundle of arrows. Yeah. So each of these things mean something. So somebody actually knows what that image is supposed to be.
Yo, what's going on everyone? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Tinashe, welcome back to another video. This is a highly requested one and also a topic that has been at the top of my list for a very, very long time. Just so we're all on the same page, I previously made a video on Liverpool's incredible history starting from the very beginning and leading up to their 2005 championship.
If y'all want me to check that one out, I will. I literally just found this channel.
League.
Yo, shout out to these niggas. I gotta give every nigga that does these type of videos, I have to take a moment in one of them at least once to give you full fucking credit for all your editing, hard work, history gathering, research. You have done all the effort. I'm going to now smoke a blunt and talk cash shit over this entire video. And I truly want to thank you because without you niggas doing your job, I don't have the ability to do the most laziest job out there. But I understand this and I want to show appreciation because without you niggas, my thing don't go. Because I'd still be out here like, well, what does Liverpool look like? What's going on with those guys? Thanks to my man here, we get to learn a thing. So I like to show appreciation because, man, that shit is necessary. I be seeing niggas react and don't show no love to the nigga that's reacting to the video. I'm like, why? Why do you have a problem showing love? It don't make no sense. These niggas make our thing go. So shout out to this guy because without his passionate efforts, what am I doing? Nothing. Smoking a blunt, doing nothing.
Win. For added context on how incredibly successful and historically significant of a club this is, you can go ahead and check that one out. In this video, we're more or less going to pick up where we left off on that one. So, let's get into it. Fresh off the comebacks of the Miracle of Istanbul in 2005, overturning a 3-0 deficit, and the 2006 FA Cup final, overturning a 2-0 deficit, Rafa Benitez's Liverpool had established themselves as a team you simply do not take lightly. They even returned to the Champions League final in 2007, but this time, the result never went their way and they lost out. And speaking of losing out, the league title continued to be out of reach. As I said, this was a trend that had been going on since 1990. And it was also a trend that wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. A prime Robbie Fowler, a prime Steven Gerrard, a prime Michael Owen, a prime Fernando Torres, all of them came and left the gates of Anfield without lifting a league title, which is of course, of Stevie G.
What's Carlsberg? What do they sell? Insurance or something? They gotta be wealthy as shit. They got the chest plate.
The longest serving captain in the club's history and one of the most complete players the football world has ever seen. Seriously, the guy could do it all. All but win a Premier League. This was despite coming close a handful of times, notably in 2009 and in 2014. In 08-09, him, Dirk Kuyt and Fernando Torres were directly involved in 62 goals in the league alone. But sadly, this was not enough to dethrone triplet winners Manchester United, finishing 4 points adrift. Regardless, this performance in the league was actually quite impressive, especially considering the fact that Liverpool were facing some pretty performance in the
Wait. Go back to this.
Triplet winners Manchester United.
This. Played, won. Okay, so yeah, you lost 3 less games as well. Okay. I'm like, what happened? Like, them niggas lost by points alone? Because that could happen, right? Like, Manchester and Liverpool could, all these stats down to all the way from left to right are exactly the same. Let's just say, for argument's sake, to make it simple. And then the points are as they are currently on the screen, meaning there is a 4-point differential between Manchester and Liverpool, but all their other stats are the same, but they share first place. Going into the dance, the team with the higher point differential gets first place, but you actually have to win the fucking matches to actually win the whole fucking thing. You can't win off of point differentials for the whole entire thing. Point differentials only determine placement into the dance, is the best way I could put it. The dance is the motherfucking tournament to actually win the fucking cup, not the top 4. How everybody's like, we better get top 4. The point differential is to determine rankings if every team that's top 4 has the exact same stat line. That's what that's for, correct?
United finishing 4 points adrift. Regardless, this performance in the league was actually quite impressive, especially considering the fact that Liverpool were facing some pretty serious financial problems at the time. Having purchased the club as recently as 2007, American owners at the time, Tom Hicks and George Gillett, had dug the club into hundreds of millions of pounds of debt.
Yeah,
debt
niggas
that was largely
pulling money out that
created
bitch.
through loans to purchase the club in the first place, and then subsequently made the club's responsibility. Wait a minute. That sounds really familiar. By October
Who's he talking about? I don't know enough. Y'all got to tell me. I don't know none of the inside jokes. Please teach me a thing.
2010, the banks wanted their money. A £300 million sale was forced through, and Liverpool Football Club was under new ownership. The owners? New England Sports Ventures, known these days and since 2011 as FSG, the Fenway Sports Group. Notably, they are also the owners of the Boston Red Sox, one of the most successful MLB teams of all time. We'll talk about them just now. They're also quite important to the story. So just a side note, I don't watch baseball. I know that
I Talk Studios and baseball don't exist. Best YouTube channels on the fucking internet, and John Boy Media as well for baseball. I rarely watch a game now. Let them niggas put a video out. Watching that shit. Rarely watch a game now, but them niggas, boy, they're killing it for baseball content.
the Boston Red Sox won the World Series as recently as 2018, but I'm curious to know 4 years later how good they actually are. Anyone that does watch baseball, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I can't tell
Booty cheeks. They ain't doing shit.
you how happy I am. We're here to win. A quote made back in 2010 by the owner of FSG, John Henry. Looking back with 2022 vision, he clearly wasn't lying, although he'd have to wait a while before anything significant came along. While they did win the League Cup in 2011, the 3 years between 2010 and 2013 were, let's say, interesting. Yeah, interesting. 6th, 8th, and 7th, their finishing positions in that period. A loss in the 2012 FA Cup final, 4 full-time managers, and the signing of Andy Carroll for £35 million, a British
Why is this bad?
transfer record. He scored 11 goals in all competitions for them over 3 years, which, if my maths is correct, is just over £3 million per goal. A solid investment. But it wasn't all bad. What we're doing here is something known as standing too close to the elephant. If we zoom out and adjust, we get the whole picture.
Oh, it's the
While
nigga that
addition
bite
of
people.
Luis Suarez led to alleged racial abuse and soft cannibalism. Why is it bad? He was just out of this world for Liverpool, particularly in 13-14. He missed the first 5 games of the season through suspension and ended up with 43 goal contributions, a total bested only by Thierry Henry.
Oh, okay, so I could talk about a nigga's contributions and goals as a one-word phrase. So, because I'm like, 43, nigga, that should say 31. But if you add them together, so you're allowed to combine assists and goals for a talking point. Like, you can't do that shit in basketball. You can't do that shit in football. Well, you can't get a fucking assist in football. Well, American football. So, yeah, you can't do that shit in basketball. You can't be like, oh, that nigga contributed to this many baskets and add that nigga's assist in with the points that nigga done scored. Ah, that's wild. Those are two, like, totally. They have to stay separate stats, especially in basketball, because some niggas' entire careers are built off of, I'm feeding niggas at the bucket. The fuck do you mean? Nigga, like Chris Paul. Call him the point guard for a reason. His assist game is ignorant. No way would we add his assist to the points. Now, that's just the distinction I'm noticing, because I'm like, I did not know you could do that. I did not know.
With 43 goal contributions, a total bested only by Thierry Henry in 2003. And if we want to talk efficiency in terms of goal contributions per appearance, this is the greatest individual Premier League season of all time.
Is it really? What's G plus A appearances? Oh, goals and assists. Okay. Goals and assists and appearances. Oh, by appearance. Okay, so he's getting about 1.3 goals per. Okay. Is this really the best? How he get over my nigga? Not Thierry. That's my dog. Damn, that nigga on the list twice. Yeesh. Harry Kane on this bitch twice? That nigga nice like that? What? Salah. I know that nigga name. Oh, he on the list twice? God damn. Hold on. Yeah, it's twice only for Harry. I was about to say, is that 3 times? That nigga cutting up. Drogba. I've heard that name. I don't know nobody else on here. Robin Van Persie. Oh, I've heard that nigga name before. I've heard Van Persie.
Time. And again, he missed the first 5 games. Crazy. It still wasn't enough to win the title though. Picture this. 35 games into the Premier League season and you're sitting in pole position. Everything is in your hands and all you have to do is win the next 3 games and you're golden. Your captain even screams this at you after a crucial 3-2 win against Man City on match week 34. But 2 games later against Chelsea. Oh man, that is
That's
tough.
your ass, boy.
You draw your very next game, City eventually take it by 2 points, and the slip enters the Football Meme Hall of Fame immediately.
Jesus.
Tough. Luis Suarez secured a move to Barcelona directly after the season, but at least Liverpool got themselves a big bag of £65 million, a bag that helped them purchase the undisputed GOAT, Mr. Clutch himself, Divock Origi. Otherwise, Liverpool were back to the drawing board, from 2nd to 6th in the space of 2 seasons, and the departure of longtime legend, symbol, and captain Steven Gerrard meant that they were in need of some big changes. With Brendan Rodgers failing to emulate the character that previous
Moneyball. So he does Moneyball soccer. This Jurgen Klopp guy. Cause I kind of like the Billy Bean practice. Like it does make sense, man. Spend ignorantly where we can, and then let's just Moneyball the rest of these niggas. And boy, that shit, that man, if a nigga want to get money ball for a paycheck and come in and play his role, those teams look so efficient. You like, damn, that nigga on a vet minimum playing like an all-star.
Brendan Rodgers failing to emulate the character that previously made his team title contenders, and a bad start to the 15-16 season, he was shown the door. In came a man we all know too well, Jurgen Klopp. As I said, Liverpool were in a bit of a fragile state at this point, which is why this appointment may have been confusing to some. At a very quick glance, Jurgen Klopp did not look like the man that could guide the Reds to where they needed to be. He was a two-time Bundesliga winner with Borussia Dortmund and a Champions League runner-up back in 2013, yes. But fast forward to 2015, and he was coming off a 7th place finish in the Bundesliga with Dortmund. But looks can often be deceiving. As we've since found out, he was actually the perfect choice. The numbers don't lie. At this point, you're probably thinking, which numbers? And the reason I think that's what you're thinking is because that's what I was thinking, I think. So I'm gonna have to talk about baseball again for this part. Apologies to the purists out there, but this will only take a second, I swear. I'm guessing a lot of you guys watching this are familiar with Moneyball, a book released in 2003 that was adapted into a really good movie in 2011. Highly recommended. Anyway, this book is based on the real-life
Shite movie. Hard 6.5 overall rating. If you're really into sports, might be able to push it to an 8, but it's not a really good movie. It's just, there's a lot of niggas in it that you probably fuck with as actors, so you're selling yourself a little harder, but it's really not a good movie. Like, it's not. But it does get across the point of, like, how Moneyball works, so if you're trying to understand that so you can then, like, point to your team, like, why aren't they doing these type of moves, it'll for sure get that kind of, I guess, like, learning or understanding across to you.
Methods of evaluation used by the Oakland Athletics baseball team in the 2002 season. When scouting, instead of using basic statistics, the equivalent of goals and assists in baseball terms, advanced statistics were used when selecting suitable players. These are known as sabermetrics in baseball. In doing so, they were able to find hidden and undervalued gems that may not have otherwise been found, and also effectively find weaknesses in their own game that they could improve upon. Subsequently, they had a great season. A better season than many other teams that spent considerably more than them. John Henry paid close attention to this, and after FSG acquired the Red Sox in 2002, he even tried and failed to poach the Oakland Athletics general manager, Billy Beane. In any case, the Red Sox have since won 4 World Series titles that involve the use of advanced statistics in their scouting, game plan, and much, much more. Right. Back to football. Witnessing their success firsthand, FSG have since applied the same logic of using advanced statistics to football and even used those methods to scout Jurgen Klopp. Despite finishing 7th in the Bundesliga the year before, according to the models calculated by Liverpool's analytics team, Dortmund actually should have finished 2nd. Their advanced statistics and expected output greatly outperformed everyone but Bayern. They were just unlucky. Okay, so it may seem like I drew that point out for longer than I should have, but I think it's quite an important point, particularly because this is apparently how Liverpool have scouted the teams that they've put out in recent years, and it's a practice that lives on to this very day. On to the man himself. Jurgen Klopp was chosen as the Liverpool manager for reasons far beyond just numbers. At the base of it all, he is an insanely charismatic man. You don't need to dig too deeply to verify that. From his beaming smile and calm demeanor when addressing the press, to his animated touchline gestures, to his warm interactions with his players, the guy just oozes passion. And as for the fans, Liverpool has one of the most devoted fan bases in the world. For a manager to come in and amplify that passion,
Am I wrong in thinking that Liverpool fans may feel like they're a little bit posher than the rest of everybody else? Like, not say I'm a Liverpool guy. I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just know I'm up there. And that's just what it is. Because I feel like that's like the kind of energy I'm getting from this team. It's like, yo, we're still hard-nosed working class people, but motherfucker, I'm a somebody. You better act right. I'll fucking bat your ass across the head.
He's got to be something special. He comes across as really modest too, dubbing himself as the normal one in his first interview when the press were clearly trying to get a headline out of him.
I'm the normal one, maybe, if you want this.
I guess they succeeded. But it doesn't end there. Behind the smile, Klopp is a leader, strategist, and visionary all in one. He's clearly a tireless worker and is a student of every aspect of the game. He clearly has an open mind and embraces both the traditional tactical side of the game as well as the statistical analysis side. Quite notably, he's embraced the latter in England despite heavy pushback from certain sections of the media. Onto the pitch, and the man's setup and game plan has always been pretty attack-minded. And upon watching any of the teams that he's coached over the past decade and a bit, you quickly begin to realize why they're all so exciting. Exertion. These boys can run.
I like heavy metal more. I know it's not the most important statistic, but I love it when I read after the game that we run more than the opponent.
Heavy metal. Since his early days at Dortmund, a hallmark of any Klopp side is their commitment to pressing, more specifically, gegenpressing. The reason why is simple. It's the best form of both attack and defense. The best moment to win the ball is immediately after your team just lost it. The opponent is still looking for orientation where to pass the ball. He will have taken his eyes off the game to make his tackle or interception, and he will have expended energy. Both make him vulnerable. What Klopp is essentially trying to say here is that he heavily believes in countering the counter. And it just so happens that if you do so successfully and win the ball deep in the opposition's half, where most counterattacks tend to start, you are now just 1 or 2 short actions away from a goal-scoring opportunity. But this style of play does have its shortcomings. It's impossible to counter every counter and
You
block
get caught out,
every
nigga.
passing lane.
That's free
The team
pussy.
needs to know when to stop the press and fall back into a traditional defensive block to avoid leaving gaps that do nothing but help the opposition's counter. And losing the ball too frequently can quickly exhaust players if they have to consistently press. Accordingly, possession-based play can go a long way to helping resolve this problem. But above all else, the use of appropriate personnel is what really makes the system tick. This is the side that Jurgen Klopp inherited when he first arrived.
Alberto Marinho. Don't know none of you niggas. Yo, shout out to Jens Molnar, though. Not that one. The one that makes beats on YouTube. That nigga's beats are ignorant. I know not a single nigga on this team. Jesus Christ.
Which honestly feels so strange to look at. Look, this team wasn't terrible, but it certainly wasn't elite by any means, nor was it able to implement the playstyle the new manager was looking to dish out. It needed a significant facelift. Thanks to all the changes, most notably a mid-season change in management, an 8th place finish was how the 15-16 season ended. They made it to the Europa League finals that year, which is good stuff, but from the following year onwards, that's when the real work began. One of the main reasons that Liverpool is such a well-run machine these days is how efficiently everything runs from top to bottom. But no matter how you look at it, it all starts from upstairs. Jurgen Klopp, the manager, Michael Edwards, as of July 2022, the former sporting director, and Mike Gordon, the president of FSG.
These niggas, besides my nigga right here, they all look quite young to be running such a prominent football club. Like every nigga pictured is outside of the coach, maybe he's under 50. Klopp is maybe like early 50s, maybe late 40s. This guy's probably like mid 40s, late 40s as well. Like these are quite young in my purview for like the owners and like upper management of who's running shit in the major sports teams in America. I'm like, you can still probably see these niggas outside. The niggas that run the fucking shit over here, they're fucking dinosaurs. Like strong wind might blow that nigga over, but he still make all the decisions. Like this nigga, he looked like an adult version of NSYNC Backstreet or Backstreet Boys backup dancer. That's exactly what my nigga looked like. But he running a football club. Do you know how young that is? You know how many birds this nigga's probably? Oh my God, this nigga life is ignorant. He's doing some crazy shit behind the scenes. I'm telling you.
Look at it. It all starts from upstairs. Jurgen Klopp, the manager, Michael Edwards, as of July 2022, the former sporting director, and Mike Gordon, the
Oh, that nigga said former. Oh, that nigga fired? Goddamn.
president of FSG and managing owner of the club. All three worked in tandem to make all the football-related decisions pertaining to the operating of the club, and among other aspects, that included recruitment. All had their own teams, all reported back to one another, and all worked in unison. This backroom team is what made the Liverpool that we watch week in and week out a reality. Knowing that they were incapable of going toe-to-toe with the likes of Manchester City when it came to available funds in the transfer market, Liverpool had to work smarter and pick their targets carefully. I mean, listen, they weren't pinching pennies or anything. They are a major European football club, but I'm sure you get what I mean. Sadio Mane, Joel Matip, and Jojo Wijnaldum were the most prominent pieces of the initial crop to come in. 1 year later, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Andrew Robertson, Mohamed Salah, and Virgil van Dijk were in. In total, all of the above-mentioned players cost £203 million. A large chunk of change, but not all that bad when you consider that all of these players have significantly outperformed their valuation following their signing. By this point, 3 years in, the season-by-season change of the squad was so visible, it was actually quite frightening. Here's a chart showing Liverpool's goals scored starting from Klopp's arrival up to the 17-18 season. The uptick isn't too surprising as this team never had problems scoring, and the addition of Salah in particular only fanned the flame. Here is a chart showing their goals conceded in the same period. In my eyes, this is the visual that best describes the team's...
That's how you win, god damn it. Motherfucker, I score more than you niggas can. I don't give a fuck how many you get, bitch. I got more.
meteoric rise. To me, the improvement in defense is far more impressive than the attacking output. They were starting to look like the Liverpool of old. But they weren't done yet. A loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League final that year, thanks to some dizzying mistakes, meant that they were still lacking in crucial departments. Departments that were filled courtesy of this guy. That's right. That's Neymar. A funny statement, and also an oversimplification, but it's definitely not far from the truth. PSG by Neymar for £200 million. Barcelona by Coutinho and Dembele for £200 million. 105 million of which goes to Liverpool. And Liverpool, who were probably already going to make these purchases, can now comfortably buy Fabinho and Alisson for a combined £95 million. Add in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jordan Henderson, who were already at the club, one of which was a youth product, and just like that, what you have is a group of players that you can use to...
Youth products are free talent. Like, they came from our youth division. Like, that's my little nigga. Like, we pay him, obviously, but the way that we have to pay him, the money is... I'm gonna call it funny money because it's like it doesn't hurt us as bad as like if I have to pay another nigga from another team. Like, that money hurts me way more than having to pay a nigga from my youth department, right?
Build a legacy. This is a very difficult league. Opponents may be bigger, but in a special Liverpool way, we can be successful. I don't want to say we can wait 20 years. If we sit here in 4 years, I think we win one title. If I don't win the next one, maybe it will be in Switzerland. I played a short clip of this quote in the intro. Klopp said this all the way back in 2015 when he joined the Reds. To be fair, he was speaking about the league here, which he didn't win in 4 years. But let's just say he isn't in Switzerland just yet. The 18-19 season was one of the greatest seasons in Premier League history, and certainly one of Liverpool's best. Actually, it wasn't one of the best. At the time, it was the best season that Liverpool had ever played in the Premier League era. The defense consisted of quick, powerful players that all pressed high, with Van Dijk at the heart. We quickly found out that Andrew Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are a generational fullback duo. Not only defenders, but playmakers too. I wouldn't be surprised if the pings Alexander-Arnold produces are illegal in some countries. Disgusting. A midfield three of tireless runners that covered any holes left by their teammates, embodied heavy metal football, and had the technique to play as both defenders or attackers if required. And then we have the front three of Mane, Salah, and Firmino that directly contributed to 91 goals in all competitions. Firmino relentlessly defending from the front, and Salah and Mane finishing whatever came their way. 30 games won, 1 game lost, 89 goals scored, 97 points. At that point, the 97 points Liverpool earned in the 18-19 season would have easily won every other Premier League campaign before it. All but 2, one of which was the 18-19 season. The other was the season directly before it. Both won by Manchester City. Very tough. It was crazy unfortunate, but this year was still a very historic year. We've already talked about how Liverpool made it to the Champions League final the year before and lost out. As we'll soon find out, a major strength about this team is their ability to lose and bounce straight back. And so they did. A 2-0 win against Tottenham Hotspur in the final earned them their 6th European Cup. The final itself was great, sure, but we all know what the most memorable moment from this campaign was.
Corner taken quickly, Origi!
3-0 down against Barcelona going into the second leg of the semi-final that year, and they were missing both Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino to injury. You would have been a fool to think Barca weren't already on their way to the final. Before this match, Klopp urged his players to just try. If we can do it, wonderful. If not, then fail in the most beautiful way. And this goal was the goal that made the match 4-3 in Liverpool's favour. Iconic. Just going back to the league, I'd actually be so hacked if I were a Liverpool supporter and this happened. No league trophy in almost 3 decades, and when you're destined to break the cycle, a tiki-taka merchant ruins it all. So what do you do when you have your best season ever and still lose? Well, quite obviously, you have your best season ever again, better than the lost, and leave absolutely no room for debate on your way to the top. There were no major additions that season, and the game plan was left largely unchanged. However, the instructions must have been more or less familiar to the players at that point. More energy. They broke the record for the best start in the history of the top 5 leagues, winning 26 of their first 27 games and drawing once. And at one point, they had opened up a 25-point gap at the top.
Jesus.
The biggest gap at any point between first and second in English top flight history. And the result was
Top
Liverpool's
flight security
first
of the
league
world,
trophy
Craig.
in 30 years. Their 19th in total. The boys were back. Unfortunately, nobody can keep up such a ridiculous level of output indefinitely. While many believe that Liverpool would go on to dominate the very next year, a mixture of bad luck, fatigue, and horrendous tackles meant that they were facing a pretty serious injury crisis. Almost every Liverpool player suffered some sort of injury over the course of the season, missing anywhere from 1 game to dozens. But nowhere was this more prevalent than in central defense. All 3 of Van Dijk, Matip, and Gomez suffered long-term injuries, and thanks to the shuffling that was required as a result of this, the team suffered. Many naysayers were convinced that this was the end of Liverpool's renaissance. So it must have been tough for them when they came back with a fully fit squad the
This
next
is
year and got
colorized.
right back into it.
This
They
nigga
were
a
in
fool.
contention for every trophy they participated in until the very end, playing 63 out of 63 games available to them. Unfortunately, their regular rivals Man City and Real Madrid beat them out again in the League and the European Cup. But at the very least, the League Cup and the FA Cup were theirs. Just to recap, in the last 4 years, Liverpool have won the English Premier League, the UEFA Champions League, the FA Cup, and the League Cup. And I've yet to mention that they've also won the UEFA Super Cup and the Club World Cup. It's incredible stuff. But I've mentioned this in another video. I'm not sure which one it was, and I can't really be asked to go back and look. But in my opinion, I strongly believe that this trophy haul is not a true reflection at all of how good these guys actually are. In this period, they've lost 2 European Cup finals. And that's not even to mention the Europa League final they lost in 2016. And they finished as runners-up in the league by a single point twice. In retrospect, people typically only look at the winners of each competition. So in 10, 20, 30 years, I fear that Liverpool may not be given the props that they actually deserve, which is a shame. I mean, I know we are currently living in this era and there is still time for them to change that. And I'm not saying they've been hard done by or anything. I think City and Madrid were worthy winners in each instance, but I'm hoping you get what I mean. To even get near what Liverpool
I don't give a fuck if the nigga was worthy. I'm not about to give nobody no credit. You beat my team. Them niggas suck dick. They cheated. Outright. I seen it. I could show you footage. Just watch that game. That's the footage. They cheated. If you don't come away with the same feeling, you must be an op and you must like that other team. That's just how it goes.
has done is a masterclass in its own right. And much of the props has to go to this guy, Jurgen Klopp, the normal one. Him and his team have completely turned Liverpool's fortunes around.
Wait, there's more than one Jurgen? That's a thing? Well, obviously it's a thing, but I'm saying like as far as like the angry German is not this guy?
According to Forbes, Liverpool's team valuation has gone from about $980 million US when he joined in 2015 to roughly $4.5 billion. Of course, as I've already said, Klopp isn't the only one that's responsible for this. Liverpool's team of analysts and an owner with an insatiable winning appetite are the ones that brought him in the first place. All the same, what he's done with the team and what the players themselves have accomplished is nothing short of incredible. Recently, Klopp signed an extension which will see him stay at Liverpool until 2026, meaning that if the contract is fulfilled, he will be at the club for 11 years by the end of it. He is already Liverpool's longest-serving manager in the Premier League era, beating out Rafa Benitez in second, so he's already a legend, and the story is far from over. Even with big players like Sadio Mane leaving and the spine of the squad getting up there in age, I have no doubt Liverpool will be able to rebuild in a way few other teams can. The reason I say this with such confidence is that they've already proven they can, and they have a system in place for it. Before we finish this one up, I want to leave you all with a quote from a man that every Liverpool supporter loves: Wayne Rooney. In 2020, following his league title win, Klopp was asked if he believed Liverpool could dominate like Manchester United once did. He firmly believed this was not possible. Rooney's response to this was, Klopp says it's impossible, but he is wrong. There's a simple way for Liverpool. Let Klopp go on and on. United dominated because Fergie stayed so long. If Klopp, who was only 53, stayed at Anfield for the next 10 years, Liverpool would win at least 5 Premier League titles. He could keep building great sides because players join clubs to work with managers as good as him. And there we have it. A brief look into how Liverpool got their mojo back after years of disappointment. If you like, leave a like. If you dislike, hit the dislike button twice. And also let me know what you think about Liverpool in the comments below. And if you want, feel free to follow me on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, it's all in the description. Anyway, that's all for me today. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're all staying safe. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.
All that same stuff for me for this video, and that's pretty cool though. I do see that shit that Rooney's talking is true though. Like, you let niggas stay and he putting in this kind of work. Like, I do see that, at least in your guys' version of football, it's instant success is just ridiculous, and sustained success is only going to come from longevity. But y'all be so ready to kick a nigga out. I'm just like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, especially if like niggas are performing. It's like, it's, hey, I'm just learning. I might be one of y'all too. Like, hey man, we ain't won no motherfucking matches this year. Fire that nigga. That he gotta go. He don't know what he doing. But yeah. Thank you for putting this together. Football Iconic. This was a dope video. If there's more videos from this person you want me to check out, please let me know. If there's other football videos you would like me to check out, please let me know. Yeah. And yeah. Good luck to everybody's team that is on my team whenever I pick one for this fucking season. But good luck, because the season starts by the time this video drops. So, hey, see you guys on the other side of this season, and hopefully, if your team is my team, we win it all by the time I pick it. But I don't know what team I have yet. So, good luck to everybody. I see you on the other side. I'm out of here. Have a good evening. Peace.